All right, welcome back to the next stream of the following 30 questions of the theory exam. Well, everything is set up. Yes, and we have the first question here on our screen, and it starts immediately with a movie. Let's go. All right, we are driving 130 right now. And there's a truck in front of us. We're about to overtake him. And ooh, he has emergency lights. Huh? Have you seen it? Let's go to the questions. What is the right course of action now? I remain in the left-hand lane. I continue driving as before. I reduce my speed. So what do we have to do now? 1, 2, or 3? I remain in the left-hand lane is a good idea. And you should reduce your speed because the truck is probably driving to the left because quite in front of him there's an obstacle on the road, and that's why he's probably turning into our lane, and that's why continue driving as before is not a good idea. In that case, we are driving 100 kilometers per hour on the left side of the highway because we probably want to overtake that red truck. And there's a construction on his side. Well, actually it's at the hard shoulder, but the truck probably will turn a bit into our lane. So let's see the question. Why must you reduce your speed now? Because of the speed limit, because of the blue car, because of the truck. Well, regarding what I've said before, it's probably because of the truck, because there was a construction going on. He might turn a bit more left to have more distance to the workers on the road. That's correct. You want to leave the motorway. What is the right course of action? Right now, we are already on the exit lane. We are still driving 100 kilometers per hour. That is probably much too fast to go into that curve. And yeah, we are indicating to the right. Let's have a look. You want to leave the motorway. What is the right course of action? I reduce my speed only once I am at the turn. I use the speedometer to check my speed at short intervals. I reduce my speed now. What would you do? Reduce speed only once I'm at the turn, or you reduce your speed now? Both are contradictory, so just one of these two is correct. However, the one in the middle is definitely correct. You should use the speedometer to check several times in short intervals, because if you're staring the whole time on your speed, you can't see the bend in front of you. So that one is correct, and yes, you should reduce your speed now, because if you wait until you're at the bend to turn, it's too late to slow down from 100 to 50 to catch the bend. So it's the middle and the last one. Good. When driving on motorways, why should you maintain the recommended speed of 130 kilometers per hour? Because this achieves an even flow of traffic, can prevent accidents occurring, can reduce severity of possible accidents. What do you think? Well, it's no secret anymore that you can drive as fast as you like on German highways, or there is no speed limits. It doesn't mean that you're allowed to drive as fast as you like. It depends always on traffic, on the conditions, on the road of your vehicle. However, you could drive much faster than 130. So why is it recommendable? Are you ready? Because it achieves an even flow of traffic. Obviously, if someone wants to overtake the whole time, it will stuck. So if everyone drives 130, it would be much fluent. Every time someone is overtaking or has to be overtaken, it's a risky maneuver, and that's why if everyone drives the same, it will be less accidents probably, and it the impact of a crash is less. If you crash with someone with 200, it is less dangerous than if you still crash with 130. It's not that good, but better than crashing with 200. So all three of them are correct. Right, now we are with 80 kilometers per hour. Check the cars in front of us right now. See, they're blinking, so we have to put on the emergency light because there is a traffic, and check the back mirror. Okay, what must you anticipate here? The motorbike drives between the lines of vehicles. The blue car pulls into my lane in front of me. The driver of the yellow truck does not notice the start of the tailback in time. So what do we have to anticipate here? Well, if you have checked the back mirror, you have seen the motorbike was actually passing by, and right now he's in our dead angle, so we can't see him, but he's there. He's quite to our left right now. The blue car pulls into my lane. No, he's far away, but the driver of the yellow truck does not notice the start of the tailback in time. Yes, that we hope will never happen, but that's why we always recommend, if you're in front of traffic jam and then you're close to the tailback, you should always give a little bit more distance if you're the first one who's entering, that in case if someone crashes, you're not pushed into the car in front of you. All right. What should you anticipate when driving out the exit slip road? Well, before I start to read the answers, maybe let's have a look into it and make it a little bit bigger. Now you can see it better. There we have this triangle, the warning triangle in front of it, in front of the bend before entering this parking slot or parking area. Or however they call it, it's an exit. So we don't know what happens behind of it. Okay, what should you anticipate when driving out the exit slip road? People on the carriageway, a fallen load, a broken down vehicle. I think that's quite easy. All of them three might occur, so we have to select all answers. We are again on highway. Right now we are entering into a construction area with 80 kilometers. There is a yellow line or line, and the truck is sometimes entering into our lane, so it's quite dangerous right now to pass through. Okay, why should you avoid overtaking alongside the roadworks site? Vehicles in the right-hand lane may cross over the yellow road markings. The risk of an accident increases significantly. The time saved is frequently insignificant. What should I click? To save 4 points. Yeah, points in that exam are always bad, so we should make everything correct. And for indicating everything correct, you have to put the first one. Yeah, they could enter into our road. The second one, because it's quite risky in these areas. And the last one too, it actually, you're not, if you drive 2-3 kilometers per hour faster than the truck, at the end you haven't saved a lot of time, so it was not worth it to overtake him and take the risk. So all three of them are correct. How can you reduce the risk of driving onto a motorway against the stipulated direction? I pay close attention to the signage when the traffic routing changes. When encountering roadworks, I only follow the information provided by my navigation system. I deliberately look for traffic signs showing the right direction of travel at motorway slip roads. So what can we do against, what can we do to reduce the risk that we might go into the wrong direction? The first one, definitely. And just only following the information of the navigation system is not a good idea. That's not a correct answer. That might be even that you guided into the wrong direction. Yeah, if the navigation system is not updated. And yeah, you should look out for traffic signs. That's a clever idea. So the first and the last is correct. How can fatigue be prevented on a long journey? Drink coffee and make no stops. By well-timed and sufficient stops for rests. Gymnastic exercises during stops. Drink coffee and make no stops is not a good idea. You should make stops. And therefore it's better to put the second answer exactly. And yeah, if you move a little bit during your stop, do some exercises, it will help to recover as well. Okay, what is the potential risk when using driver assistance systems? The vehicle driver may neglect his own personal responsibility, have false expectations of the systems, pay too little attention to the traffic around him. Maybe some of you are already driving, just converting the license. So what do you think from your experience? Neglecting his own personal responsibilities. Yeah, we have heard that from some Tesla drivers. I have heard it. Well, I should be neutral. Have false expectation of the system. Yes. And pay too little attention to the traffic around him is possible too. So all three of them are correct. Nice. Yes, personally, there's some assistance systems I really don't like. For example, when I have got something like a road assistance system, that when I get too close to the right side of the road, the car is gently pulling me back. And that's quite annoying because I would like to drive quite close to the right hand side, but he's not letting it. And then you're the whole time putting more force to it to turn the car more right, then the system is telling me you can't take it off. Well, at least in my Audi right now. In the Mercedes before, I had before Mercedes there, it was possible, but in this Audi right now, I haven't found it right now. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. What is the risk if you become distracted while using electronic devices when driving? I may deviate from my lane. I may fail to notice road traffic signs. My stopping distance may be reduced. All right, which of these three would you choose? Yes, it's to come back to what I was talking before. Right now, I have my own driving school car, and yeah, this time I choose an Audi because they had better conditions. I love Mercedes, but it's quite expensive. So let's try out Audi. It's a nice car too. So if you like to drive, we will drive with Audi. All right, you're ready? I may divide from my lane is correct. I may fail to notice road traffic signs is correct. True. And my stopping distance may be reduced is wrong. Because it's not reduced. Yeah, if you're distracted, it will augment it. Yeah, so it will become longer or not reduced. That's why the first and the second one is correct. What frequently causes younger drivers to have disco accidents? Disco? Well, clubbing. Well, let's see. The drivers fail to notice that they are not fit to drive, are overtired, are physically exhausted. Depends on which party you're going. No, we should click all of them, obviously. All three of these things might be a potential threat to young drivers coming out of party. Okay, what is the right thing to do if you sense signs of fatigue during a nighttime journey? I allow a co-driver to drive if possible. I decide against taking a break and fight the tiredness. I interrupt the journey to take an adequate break. Two of them are correct. I allow co-driver is a good idea. And the last one, interrupt the journey to take an adequate break, is definitely correct answer. Meanwhile, fighting against it and just go on is not a good idea. All right. What can diminish alertness in road traffic? Engrossing programs on the car radio, strong emotions, example, delight, annoyance, impatience, animated conversations or conversation. I would say all three of them. Yeah, if you hear something interesting on radio, strong emotions, definitely, and interesting conversations too. So all three. What strongly distracts you while you are driving? Nagging children on the back seats, telephoning, lighting a cigarette. Well, I don't have children, but I would swear that nagging children on the back seat is definitely something which will distract you. Telephoning too, and lighting a cigarette. Well, I don't smoke, but you shouldn't smoke while driving. But it will definitely distract you if you try to put the fire on. Okay. When should you interrupt your journey? When I notice that the concentration is decreasing, when I want to activate the cruise control system, when I want to pick an item that has fallen down in my vehicle. Okay. When I notice that concentration is decreasing, that's a good idea to make a break. Activate the cruise control system. No, you can do this while driving. Yeah, you just push the button in your steering wheel or another, or you can activate it like that, depending on which car, but you don't have to interrupt your journey to activate cruise control. So, but you should interrupt it if you have to pick something from below. Yeah, so the first and the last one. Traveling on main road after a lengthy period of time of following behind, you're finally able to overtake a very slow moving car. What should you do? After overtaking, I brake briefly in order to call the attention of the other driver to his slow speed. I drive especially slowly in order to emphasize to the other driver the effects of his driving style. I pull back in after an adequate distance in order not to impede the other driver. I feel it's like a video game and you can choose if you're on the good or on the bad side. And to avoid 4 points in this exam, I would recommend you to answer with I pull back after an adequate distance in order not to impede the other driver is the only correct answer, because call attention of the driver to slow his speed. No, that's not a good conduct, and and make him feel the same is not a good idea neither. Yeah, so that's why the first and the second one is not correct. The vehicle ahead has prevented you from overtaking for some time now. What is the right course of action? We are driving 90 here. We can see the slow moving red vehicles in front of us. Well, we can't see that it's slow, but in the question it was noted. And behind is the blue car. On the right are a lot of trucks, and that's why he's blocking, yeah, because we can't overtake him right now. Okay, the vehicle ahead has prevented you from overtaking for some time now. What is the right course of action? I close the gap. I sound my horn and flash my headlights persistently. I wait until I am able to overtake. Yeah. Before I did that stream in Spanish with my wife together, and we had there a small discussion actually. So the only correct answer here is I wait until I'm able to overtake. But she was asking me, but doesn't it mean that if you flash the headlights that you want to overtake? And she's right. You are outside, you're allowed to use the lights, the headlights, to flash it to tell someone that you want to overtake. But if you read that question carefully, it is I sound my horn and flash my headlights persistently. And persistently is here the problem, yeah, that might cause a lot of anger and all that. That's not a nice behavior. If you do it one time, it's okay, but if you do it persistently, it's annoying, and that's why it's not correct in that case. Right before you want to drive off, you got annoyed about something and have become very angry. What should you do? I only drive off once I have calmed down again. I drive off in order to distract myself from my anger. I try to reach my destination quickly so that I can calm down there. I only drive off once I have calmed down again. Yeah, I think that's the only correct answer. I drive off in order to distract myself from my anger. No, you should wait until you're calmed down and then you can go ahead. Nice. What should you be aware when driving a car after a long day's work? I drive with a lower level of concentration. I will become tired more quickly. I make fewer driving errors. At least the last answer was contradictory. So I can tell you right now, I make fewer driving errors is the wrong answer, but the first two are correct. You have less concentration and you might become more tired more soon. Okay. How can you recognize a good driver? A good driver refrains from responding to provocations on the road. Always informs other traffic participants of their driving errors. Exhibits a calm and relaxed driving style. I would say it's the first one. Yeah, you should stay stable and don't get affected if someone else is trying to provoke you, and exhibits a calm and relaxed driving style is a good idea too. Nice. Okay, we are driving with 50. I'm 50 because we are outside of village, and you know how fast we're allowed to drive. Outside villages, we are allowed to drive 100. So we could drive much faster. Okay, let's go to the question. The red car in front of you has been driving slowly for some time now. What is the correct course of action in this situation? I maintain my speed. I overtake because the road is clear. I close the distance and sound my horn. I maintain my speed, probably. I overtake because the road is clear? No, because we're in a bend. You can't see if someone might appear. So you don't overtake. And close the distance on your horn. It's very aggressive. You shouldn't drive like that. Good. What frequently causes young people to have disco accidents? High readiness to take risks, a defensive driving style, a lack of awareness of the road traffic. Yes, high readiness to take risks and a lack of awareness of the road traffic. A defensive driving style is not causing accidents. That's actually the way you should drive. That's why it's not correct in that case. It's the first and the last one. Why can driving under pressure of time be dangerous? Because when driving under pressure of time, risks are frequently underestimated. The driver frequently goes too fast. A defensive driving style is frequently adopted. So you're quite late, you just have to get to your meeting and you're driving and driving. You're probably driving too fast. And it might get risky as well. So the first and the last is correct. Meanwhile, a defensive driving style would be adequate, but that's not causing danger. So it's the first and the second one. You are on a road outside of a built-up area, and the car in front of you is driving much slower than is permitted to, and has to capacity to. What is the right course of action? I have to read it again. You are on a road outside of a built-up area, and the car in front of you is driving much slower than it is permitted to and has the capacity to. What is the right course of action? I overtake at a suitable place. I flash my headlights until the car begins to drive faster. I adjust my speed to that of the car. I overtake at a suitable place is a good idea, and adjust the speed to that of the car until you're able to overtake. Meanwhile, I flash my headlights is allowed to say that you want to overtake, but not until the car begins to drive faster. That means that if he's not driving faster, you're still pushing the headlights and flashing the lights the whole time. So that is not good. It's the first and the last one. Good. Why is it not advisable to change lanes frequently? Because the time gained by this is generally very small, because this can endanger other road users, because this can increase the risk of driving errors. So why is it not advisable to change lanes quite often? Because the time gained by this is generally very small is the correct answer. And this might lead to endangering other road users, because this increased the risk of driving errors too. Yes, all three of them are correct. You have narrowly avoided a road traffic accident through emergency braking. Your hands and knees are shaking. What is the right course of action now? I continue driving in order to calm myself. I take a break at the soonest possible opportunity in order to calm myself. Later, I ponder if I could have avoided the situation. Later, I ponder. It's like later I think about it, yeah? How would you act in such a situation? I take a break at the soonest possible opportunity in order to calm myself is a good idea, and later I ponder if I could have avoided the situation is correct. Meanwhile, you shouldn't drive ahead to calm yourself. Driving, you should drive with a constant mood, balanced, to be a good driver and avoid accidents. And in that case, you're not balanced anymore. That's why you shouldn't go on driving just to drive to the next stop where you can actually make a pause. I had that one time as a driving teacher. I'm happy that it was just one time, and that was so scary. And I was really shocked, and I had to handle the car because my student was paralyzed and couldn't handle the car anymore, and I had to rescue her, and then I just take over the car on highway. We were driving to the next um, place to park, and then before I said something with her, I get out of the car and was calming down a little bit, and then my pulse, my heart level was coming down, and I could really talk with her and then just explained what happened and how to avoid it. But doing that calm was impossible in that moment. So I would always recommend you, when you're very angry, very emotional, then the best thing is to wait until go on driving, or especially explaining something. Yeah, but this is something else. All right. After overtaking you, a car pulls back into lane without leaving sufficient space in front of you. What should you do? I flash my headlights in order to call attention to the impediment. I remain calm in order to avoid conflicts. I brake in order to ensure that the safety distance is again established. So we're driving and suddenly someone else is coming in front of you and is getting very close to you and is actually, we say he's cutting you. In German, we use the word to cut you. Okay. Flash my headlights is not a good idea. Remain calm in order to avoid conflicts is a very good conduct, and I brake in order to ensure that the safety distance is again established is a good idea too. Okay. The risk of causing an accident when driving a vehicle is significantly higher for drivers aged between 18 and 24. What reasons are frequently relevant here? Too little driving experience, overestimation of own capabilities, higher levels of risk readiness. Yes, all of them. Too little driving experience, overestimation, and high levels of risk readiness. All three of them you have to answer to have it correct. Last question for today. While you are in traffic jam, looking in your rear view mirror, you see a motorcyclist snaking past the stationary line of vehicles. What should you do? I sound my horn and note his registration. So write down his number. I take steps to ensure that he too must come to a stop. I let him drive past. What would you do? As a good driver who wants to save 4 points in that exam, you let him drive past as well, even if you're not in exam. You should activate that. Why are motorcycles doing that? You have to know, when you have all this clothes which is protecting you, it's getting very, very, very hot inside of it. And if you're not driving on the motorcycle, the wind is missing to kill you. And that's why they try to go on instead of having a very, very bad time inside of that clothes in the middle of the highway in summertime, for example. That's why they're going, and that might help you to understand their situation, and don't be angry. All right, so don't be angry is a good word to stop. I hope you like that. Thanks that you have watched it until now. And if you liked it, we can see us tomorrow at 8:30 with the next 30 question. of that chapter. All right, have a nice evening. Goodbye.